discuss the terms of surrender. You tell him. If he'll tell his men to lay their weapons down and assemble peacefully, I promise to take you all to General Houston, and I'll try my best to save most of your lives. I want to warn you all, I'm a screamer.
Heroes shape nations, but what happens when the story we've been told isn't true? For 140 years, Crockett's last stand inspired generations of Americans. Yet evidence shows he was captured, disarmed, and executed. That's more than a footnote. It changes how we define courage itself. In an age of myths and misinformation, can we afford to ignore the evidence that contradicts the story we wanted to believe? From deep within sealed Mexican archives, a shocking document finally surfaced. It claimed Crockett wasn't killed in battle at all, but captured alive. Long dismissed as heresy, the claim gained new weight when an eyewitness account written just days after the fall of the Alamo was discovered in plain sight. Even Sam Houston himself admitted 7 men had surrendered, though their names were never revealed. Why? Picture the aftermath. The smoke clears. Crockett stands disarmed before Santa Anna. A Mexican general begs for mercy. Santa Anna flicks his wrist, a silent order for execution. Not 1, not 2, but 5 Mexican officers swore they saw it with their own eyes. Crockett taken alive, executed without cause. Their accounts, hidden away in diaries and documents for generations, now shout the truth. This is not speculation, it is evidence. Military logs, private letters, sworn testimony from both sides of the war. Scholars now agree. The proof is overwhelming. The myth has collapsed. So what truly happened to Davy Crockett? The truth is more brutal than the legend, and it changes everything. Don't look away. This is no theory. Crockett fought bravely, but the weight of evidence shows another ending. On March 6, 1836, he was likely captured and executed. This story, long rejected by traditional historians, has been gaining ground as new evidence surfaced. In 1955, a Mexican memoir declared Crockett surrendered rather than die in combat. Branded blasphemy at the time, it was ignored until its 1975 English release reignited debate. As researchers sifted through overlooked journals and letters, the story shifted. Sam Houston himself, in a March 11, 1836 dispatch, confirmed 7 men surrendered. He avoided naming Crockett, likely to prevent controversy in Texas's fragile campaign. Yet by July, newspapers reported survivors had been captured. The morning Courier and New York Inquirer described 6 Americans taken alive, Crockett among them. He was brought before Santa Anna, looking him in the eye in silent defiance. General Manuel Fernández Castrillón pleaded for mercy. Santa Anna's cold reply, "Have I not told you before how to dispose of them?" The prisoners were then stabbed by junior officers in a savage killing. Mexican records align. Santa Anna's secretary, Ramón Martínez Caro, wrote in 1837 that survivors were slaughtered without pity. José Enrique de la Peña's diary vividly describes 7 men, including Crockett, presented to Santa Anna. Castrillón begged for their lives. Santa Anna's dismissive gesture sealed their fate. Officers loyal to him hacked the defenseless men to death. Tortured, they died without a cry, preserving dignity even in brutality. Historian Dan Kilgore, in How Did Davy Die?, shows how these testimonies emerged slowly over 60 years through diaries and affidavits. Individually, they could be doubted, but together they form one of the best documented events of the Alamo. The evidence strongly points to Crockett being taken alive and executed on Santa Anna's orders. As biographer James Shackford wrote, too much focus is placed on Crockett's manner of death. What truly matters is what his life and death symbolized: his courage in the wilderness and in battle, his defiance in the face of tyranny, and his unshakable devotion to liberty. Whether armed or unarmed, his final act was one of bravery. So perhaps the king of the wild frontier didn't die fighting on the Alamo's walls, rifle blazing. Instead, he stood defenseless in the ashes, facing a dictator, and was cut down for it. History gave us a martyr's tale, but the truth tells of sacrifice. Why was this hidden for 140 years? Shame? Political convenience? Or the discomforting reality that heroes don't always die in glory? Sometimes they die on their knees, but unbroken. 5 Mexican officers swore to it. Sam Houston hinted at it. Newspapers printed it, then forgot it. The evidence was not lost, it was ignored, buried because it clashed with the legend we wanted. But legends are not history. History is raw, brutal, and human. Davy Crockett didn't just fall at the Alamo, he was executed. And that changes everything. Not his courage, but ours. Can we accept a hero who surrendered? Or does that make his final silence, his refusal to beg, the ultimate bravery? They killed the man. But why bury the truth? Never let the victors alone hold the pen that writes history. Question everything, especially the stories we call heroic. And so we arrive at the heart of the question. Did Davy Crockett fall with a rifle in hand, or did he face execution in cold blood before Santa Anna? For generations, the story of Crockett's blazing last stand gave America its frontier martyr. But the evidence we've uncovered, the officers' sworn testimony, the overlooked newspapers, the hidden diaries, paints a darker, more uncomfortable truth. If Crockett surrendered, if he was executed, does that make him less of a hero? Or more? Think about it. Is courage only found in dying with a weapon raised, or in standing defenseless before tyranny, refusing to beg, refusing to break? The legend of the Alamo was written to inspire, but the raw, brutal, and human reality forces us to see Crockett not as a myth, but as a man. And maybe that is the greater legacy. So I'll leave you with this. Why was the truth buried for nearly 140 years? Was it shame, politics, or the fact that America prefers heroes who die in fire, not silence? Davy Crockett's fate still divides historians. But one thing is certain, whether in defiance on the walls or in quiet resistance before execution, he stood for something larger than himself. And in the end, perhaps that is what makes him immortal.